right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's move this guy a little closer. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if it's in there. Hello, everybody. I know it takes a second for this thing to pop on, so let me know when it comes on and we can get started. Obviously, today's stream was supposed to be yesterday. We do these on Thursdays, but I wanted to make it a priority whenever that guitar came in to try and get that demo out first because I hadn't seen anybody else do it yet. So I went out of my way to make sure that I did that. Mixed results, very mixed results. But I did manage to go to Ace Hardware. I picked up the Loctite I needed and I put it on a thread saddle. So I filmed a video explaining kind of how to do that if you have a classic vibe, either Jaguar or Jazzmaster, and fix that kind of problem with it sinking into the bridge, because that is a real problem. And many of you guys in the comments agreed with me, thought it was pretty unacceptable that Fender have known about this and just haven't fixed it. Because there are some models where it is fixed. The Johnny Marr has bushings on the bottom to lock it so that won't happen either. And obviously if you buy a American Original or something like that, it's a much higher quality component, so you don't have to worry about your bridge sinking into your guitar. I don't know, you guys. The things people cut costs on, I'll never understand it, but you gotta make money every way you can, I guess, and pinch pennies to do what you can, turn a profit. Okay. But in other news, before I get more into Jazzmasters, I had 4 guitars that were going to show up today. 3 from Pitbull Audio and 1 from Japan. Guess how many are showing up today? Can you tell by the look on my face? How's it going, Marcus? We got a donut. All the FedEx ones, there's a weather delay. So I don't know if they're going to deliver them tomorrow or wait till Monday. There's no rush on any of those. I don't really care. And the one from Japan left Cincinnati yesterday morning at 9 a.m. from DHL and has still not landed. So I'm not sure what's going on with them. They really don't have their shit together in the Miami office. They really don't. Junk System had a CV Jag that sucked. Yeah. You saw the pink one. Were you around in that era? That was one of the first guitars we really modified on the channel. We had an older pink classic vibe Jaguar that I bought with hand wound pickups in it that was pink for my kid. And that guitar was a disaster to the point where I replaced everything on it except for the body. That guitar currently doesn't have a neck, because I grew so, I don't know, attached kind of to the custom shop Jag that I really wasn't playing it. And the fact that it had a very expensive neck on it. One of those American Vintage 65 Jaguar necks that are no longer in production with the correct radius, not like the American originals. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take my money on this one. I'll replace the neck on it at some point again. But nah, that's why you don't see that guitar anymore. In case you were curious, but that guitar needed so much work. That guitar needed so much work, and it's funny because people always think that you can save money by buying a classic vibe or whatever, and I think maybe in the case of a Tele and a Strat, that argument is much more valid. But in the case of an offset guitar, for example, you want to replace the bridge on a Telecaster, you can go to nice Goto saddles that'll go right into your normal bridge plate. That'll cost you $30. You want to replace the bridge with a good bridge on a Mustang or on a Jaguar or a Jazzmaster? It's a Staytrem or a Mastery. That's almost as much as the guitar costs. So, yeah, that's kind of something that needs to be considered, I suppose. Hey, David, haven't seen you in a little bit. How did you get your guitar and I didn't? Actually, you know what? I know why. Different route. Mine went through the south. So it probably got caught in like New Orleans or something like that with crappy weather. Whereas your guitar went to New York, so it went inland and up. Hey, you know what though? Doesn't matter. Like we said, we're in no rush with any of those guitars. Whenever those guitars come in, they come in. I'm not worried about it. Not stressed at all. Hey, Raph. And the only reason I was stressed about the 40th anniversary and the 60th anniversary, which I now let the cat out of the bag on if you watch the end of that video, is because there's nobody else that did a review on those yet. And the blue Jag, the 60th anniversary, that was supposed to come to me, that would have came yesterday if they didn't ship it to New York. The shop is getting it this morning. They want to open it. They want to test the electronics. Now, normally, I mean, that makes sense, right? But whoever's calling me, you're not very important. So I'm like, whatever. That's like, I wanted this as soon as possible. But you have to keep in mind, it is what, negative or 0 degrees in upstate New York right now. So they have to get the guitar, let it acclimate, then work on it maybe tomorrow, then ship it out Monday, maybe. So I'm not going to be first on that. There's no chance I'm going to be first on that. And this is and the frustrating thing is I ordered mine before Max ordered his, and Max has had his for like a week. I'm very, very annoyed with that. What am I going to do? Again, what am I going to do? I can't control that. I can't control, errors from shops. I can't control UPS. I can't control FedEx. I can't control DHL. I can get frustrated, but at the end of the day, all I can do is wait or sit and dwell, which is what I did on Monday. Which is why I was not in a good mood on Monday. Tell you that for sure. I looked at your video on the pink Jag. To fix mine. I tried everything. 11s for strings, black strip on a post, nothing worked. Yeah, that one was an actually even worse bridge design, that Mustang bridge. They revised it a little bit for the new ones, but the problem was the actual posts that it sat in were incorrectly sized, even more so than on the newer one. That's the one thing I noticed, because I took that guitar, the pink one, I still have the body, I took it out, and I was messing with them. I was looking at both of them back to back while I was working on the bridge and putting the Loctite on the gold Mustang bridge that came on the 40th anniversary. I compared the sizes, and the newer one is sized better. It's a little more accurate, and I think that might have to do with why the other ones were so bad. And the only thing that fixed that guitar was a mastery bridge. And again, first of all, it's a $200 bridge. Second of all, you got to wait at least, I haven't checked the latest lead time, but throughout the last year and a half, it's 1 to 2 months off. So you buy that guitar, you have all these problems. You try Loctite, you try, Teflon taping, or, anything like that as far as the bridge goes to stabilize it. If that doesn't work, you have a gigantic paperweight until the mastery bridge shows up, or the Staytrem, whatever. That's crazy. It's crazy to me, and it doesn't make sense to me on Fender's perspective as to why they don't offer a higher end option. They're losing out on money. If they made a more readily available bridge that was much more reliable to compete, the only reason Mastery and Staytrem can even stay in business is because Fender refuses to offer something on their own that's a viable solution. So if Fender just took care of this, not only would it keep customers in, if you offered it stock, then, that makes customers happy because you have a much more playable guitar when you get it. But also, it stops them from going to a different company to buy a part for their guitar. You should just offer it. It's not like they don't know how to make it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy. Why is there an electric problem? With what? I had a 70s vibe Jag, same issues. Yeah. I mean, I will say this. If I had a 1 degree shim, that guitar would be done right now. It needs a little bit of a fret level, but I could be really playing that guitar with no problems after I put the Loctite. Because once I put the Loctite in, I played that hard last night. just as a stress test, and passed. Did a really good job. The tremolo system's kind of junk-ish if you really abuse it. I'd have to replace the string on it, the spring in the tremolo system itself. And the other thing, again, going back to Fender not offering parts here, they make this awesome gold hardware, and it's so cool looking. But if you go to Reverb or you go to Angela really is where you should go, or Darren Riley's, those are all parts distributors. They get really, really good parts that a lot of times aren't available at mainstream stores. There is no Fender licensed gold hardware available, so you can't upgrade it. Mastery doesn't offer gold anymore. That was limited edition, and that's it. Your other options are the Wilkinson, which is, I hate to say this, but that's garbage. That's a garbage tremolo system, specific or vibrato system specifically for the Jaguar and Jazzmaster. So that's not a viable option for $70, and that's technically the same as the WD, which is also I think $70. Those are the only two gold options you have. So you can either live with it if you love the gold that much, or you buy one of the Fenders that are nickel plated or silver, and you change the rest of the hardware to that kind of color. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Oh, they wanted to test the electronics on the 60th. Okay. So the reason for that was I've known this shop for years. Now, I didn't purchase this guitar from them, but I've told them about this because I do have conversations about things that bother me, and I like to get other people that get in lots of guitars, kind of their perspective and their vibe. When we got the American Cabronita, the real American Cabronita that had the TV Jones pickups in it, the FSR, this was a little bit before I started the YouTube channel, but it came DOA with the electronics. And that was another FSR, limited edition guitar. And I told them that, and I was pissed. And they remembered that. So, in a way of being like good customer service, which I get, and you also got to look at it like this. Like, they're not looking at me like I'm a YouTuber. Because when I call them, I'm still just Jim. I'm that annoying kid that would come in there with my gold Jazzmaster or my white Strat, try out a bunch of pedals for hours and different amps in the little practice rooms. Maybe I'd buy one or two, or maybe I wouldn't, and I would just waste their time and annoy them with my songs, and I'd go home. They don't think of me as a YouTuber, and I say that because they see no urgency for me to get it. And back then I wouldn't have had urgency at all either, because yes, I'd prefer if I ordered something to have it, immediately, and I'm excited to get it. But when you factor in the point of, like we were talking about with the 40th Anniversary Jazzmaster, and why I was rushing to get it, and I was so frustrated with customs and UPS for not releasing it, even though it was in the States since last Thursday, it all intertwines together. And the fact that I need to get these things out, and I need to get them first because I'm not supplied anything. I don't have sponsor deals. I'm competing with people that have all of these things, much bigger budgets, all that. So if I can get it, and especially if they're guitars I have actual expertise and interest in, that Jazzmaster is one of my oldest guitars. And I love Jags. I've had countless Jags. I know these things inside and out. So I feel like, it's a good opportunity for me to reach new people. And unfortunately, if you're not first, less people will click on those things. So I understand the shop's perspective of wanting to make sure I'm happy and that they're sending out a product that's not defective. I'm not mad at them for that. You see what I'm saying? But it's a two-way street. Ooh, let me see here. Hey, Ian. Yeah, well, the first thing I do on offsets is install a Staytrem. Yeah, I like the Staytrem. The problem with the Staytrem, if you buy one of the new versions of it, because the original one was I believe a 56 millimeter as far as the spacing goes. They revised it to 52 millimeter, which is much more reliable. But the bushings on it, they won't clear a mute. Now, I like having a mute, and this is the same problem I have with the Mastery bridge. You have to Dremel out the holes in the mute to make them wider so that it will fit those two bridges. I don't have a Dremel. I have to order one anyways, but if I were to get a Staytrem from Staytrem, not one of the Fender ones, then it would go in no problem. But they're a pain in the ass to get to in America. If you live in the UK, Staytrem is much more accessible. And I would imagine it's like backwards compared to how the Mastery bridge is for us versus the Staytrem for you. It's much easier for me to get a Mastery. It's just like it's much easier for you to get Staytrem. Hi, what are your thoughts on the Rosewood Telly? Hey, Aaron. And also, Aaron, real quick, we're having issues with the little one. She's a little sick. The reason for that, the message I sent you about 4, I have to end at 5. I have to get my kid every day from school between 5:15 and 5:30. I gotta leave. I gotta go get her. And so since I work from home, it's me doing that. So that's why I can't go past that, whether I have a gig that night or not. So we'll talk more about that later, but we're gonna be working on some sort of video together. So, but to answer your question, the Rosewood Telly, really overpriced, man. But the thing is, like, I get it. I really get it. You have to think of what Gibson just did too. Another Jerry Cantrell that just released an acoustic. Those Wino Les Paul Customs, I think they sold for $7,900. Those sold out within a day. The Chuck Berrys, same thing. So who does Fender have of that level? You know, I mean, George Harrison's not bad. George Harrison's a pretty good one to have in your back pocket. You want to throw out a signature model once in a while. And it'd be better if the guy wasn't dead and they were not cashing in on dead people. I really don't like when companies do that. But, I mean, an all Rosewood Telly, it doesn't really interest me much. And I think the reason why is because I see how accessible they are from Japan on a regular basis for like less than, well, not a third of the price, a little more than a third of the price. And they're made amazing to the same standards. And the other thing is they're heavy. They're just heavy. Let me see. Are all my Japanese guitars sold? No. I have a few Japanese guitars I'm never gonna sell. I have the 82 JV Strat. That ain't going anywhere, man. That ain't going anywhere. We're gonna have to be getting kicked out onto the street, and by that point, I'll be selling all the cameras. I'll be selling the laptop. I'll be selling all that stuff before the JV goes. That's like my mate. That's the guitar I've had the longest. I love that guitar, and it's impossible to replace. I was going to say that far easier. Yeah. I like the look of the Staytrem better too, but I like the performance of the Mastery better than the Staytrem. I think it sounds way better. The Staytrem sounds like there's a blanket on the guitar when you play them back to back with the Mastery bridge. It's very interesting. In the room, I really noticed it. 7.7 pounds. What was 7.7 pounds? I missed what you were talking about. Okay. Awesome. All right, so where did you buy? I am just so interested in that. With the Harley Benton Fusion 3 Strat, do you think position 4 sounds off because of 24 frets instead of 22, 21? I think that's a part of it. I think the other part of it is that they're ceramic pickups. They're not Alnico pickups. That's going to do more than the position of the neck and the length of the neck. It's just a totally different kind of pickup. The Fusion 3, with ceramic pickups, they're generally going to be a lot more towards the higher output kind of thing, you know? So when you're really going for position 4 on a Strat is like the king of the cleans. That's what everyone shoots for with clean tones. So, I mean, that's going to have a factor, a much bigger factor, I feel. I bought the Fender Custom Shop Limited 58 Desert Sand Closet Classic Jazzmaster. There you go. That's awesome. Desert Sand, did you get the matching headstock? And the RSD bridge is awesome. We were talking about bridges before. I don't know why Fender doesn't sell those. That's a great bridge. And the other thing that's cool about that bridge and not many people know about, first of all, not many people know that bridge exists. It's only for the Fender Custom Shop. That bridge can work on a vintage radius or a modern radius. Vintage radius is 7 1/4. Modern radius is 9 1/2. I think that one measures out to 8 inches. And then it's you can kind of tweak it from there to alter. So it can do either way, which is awesome. And you got to think, if you're the Fender Custom Shop, that's even better because some people want the vintage spec just like totally new old stock, and other people want journeyman relics and stuff like that, which typically have a 9.5-inch board. Oh yeah, Max definitely has it. But you bought the Harrison Telly. I've been bad. What else are you buying? Buy some of my shit. Actually, I'm not selling anything right now. I don't think. I gotcha. Well, at least with Desert Sand, it's not going to stick out like a sore thumb that it's not matching. That's one thing that never bothered me about the Aztec Gold. That never bothered me about the 65 Jazzmaster, that it didn't match. Because the body color was like, it was close enough that I was like, I don't mind it. But that's really cool. Great job. I'm really happy you got that, man. I'm really happy you got that. And I'm sure the Harrison Telly's going to be great. I had just seen a week ago, though, an early 80s, I don't know if it was a JV or right after that, all Rosewood Telecaster come up for sale. That was amazing. And it would have cost $1,000. Lord knows what certain shops in America would charge for that. Probably well over double. But yeah, I was tempted, but it's not really my thing. I like lighter weight guitars, and all Rosewood typically tends to be a little bit heavier. Plus, we just bought a bunch of guitars. So, I'm not keeping any of them either. Maybe one out of like the 5. But yeah, majority are just for this channel. And it's not often you get the opportunity to demo something and break even on it and still give somebody a good price. So why not? What about the Bluesbreaker reissue spotted at Thomann? Well, speaking of Thomann real quick, one of my viewers wanted to buy the Jazzmaster that we demoed yesterday. They won't ship it to him. They're now saying that the product is not available for international shipping, despite the fact that they had no problem shipping me one. So, I don't know if maybe Fender watched my video and then contacted Thomann like, no, you can't do that, because I've never seen that happen before. But that would make sense, kind of, because they are in limited numbers. I still think it sucks. I mean, it's good for me because I ended up with one. But yeah, I think maybe the price had something to do with it too. How weird is that? It costs less to get a guitar from Germany, and especially in this day and age when shipping is as much as it is to ship anything, it costs less by a significant margin than had I bought that guitar in the same brand new condition in America whenever it becomes available. Because $5.99 plus 8% sales tax. I paid $5.72 shipped. Flat. I don't know. What will happen to the originals resale value? Depends on which originals. The Bluesbreakers are always going to be worth a lot, though. They're always going to be worth a lot. They're a really niche kind of thing, though. Like, a lot of older people like them, but what's cool is now that we have so many good attenuating and direct options with those really loud amps, because if you wanted to use a Plexi or a Bluesbreaker or anything like that, they all sound bad at low volume. There's no other way around it. They sound bad. And some people will try those amps and they'll be like, I don't get it. This doesn't sound that good. Yeah, it's because you have to crank it. Like, you have to crank those amps to get to the sweet spot. And now that we have things like the Sur Reactive Load, which is my favorite out of all of them, and even the two-note stuff, things like that. I know there's an Iron Man from Tone King. You have so many ways of going direct in, and you can still crank it and get really good tube tones silently or at a very attenuated level if you were to use one of those that has an attenuator, and that's cool. But you need one of those if you're going to be playing one of those old-style Marshalls. It had to do with the price. You think so? What? You had a mint Bluesbreaker. Your mother sold it for $50. I know, it's your mother, though. You can't get mad at that. She spent a lot more money on you over the course of your life. You've cost her a lot of money. Just like we all have cost our mothers a lot of money. Hey, Chris, how's it going? It's funny to think about like that. It's like, oh man, I got screwed out of like $1,000 or $2,000. Having had a kid and seeing how expensive even the first 4.5, almost 5 years of her life have been, $2,000 ain't a damn thing. But Marcus, did you see anything about that, or are you just speculating? Because I'm thinking it has to be. There has to be something wrong with that. Can I get advice on cheap monitors for home use? The Aris 5 a good choice? They will work. They will work just fine. And by home use, you have to be a little more specific. Are you talking about something that you can listen back to stuff like YouTube on or to jam with? Or are you talking about something where you can very roughly kind of listen and assemble a mix that you're recording? Because if you're going to be doing anything in a DAW like Pro Tools, then I would say it's worth the extra money to jump up to the Yamahas, the HS5s. If not, then the Aris 5s will do you just fine. I wouldn't worry about it. No, I know. I was having fun about it because I had a moment like that a few months ago with my parents. And I was like, damn it. And then I thought about it. And I was just like, that's so silly. The things we get, the things that we laugh at. My son said, Dad, you should have not had kids. You'd be rich. I mean, I don't know that I'd be rich. You might be rich. But I don't know that I'd be rich, but I certainly would not be doing this. And I only say that because I would still be going out and playing constantly. That's all I would do. Can't do that anymore. $450 a week for daycare, that's a lot of amps. And that's cheap for daycare. That's not even that expensive, depending on where you live. We're in San Diego. Forget it. Between the fact that you get a shack for $600, or for 600 square feet, you get a shack that's like $3,000 now with no backyard, no anything. And then all the electricity and all the bills of that, everything's exponentially more expensive. And then daycare on top of it. If you're not taking home close to like take home like $7,000 or $8,000, you're in the wrong city. Didn't used to be like that. It's terrible. Terrible. Time is the most valuable thing. Time is by far the most valuable thing. That's why, I don't know, I try to preach that to people. If you're not happy with your guitar playing or anything like that, I mean, if you don't have the responsibilities, just like we tell Gavin every week he comes in here. I always give him shit. He's got no responsibilities. He's going to college. I tell him, this is your time. This is your time to play whatever instrument you want and get as good as you can get at it. Really put in the hours. You got nothing to worry about. Take advantage of it. It's not even a mean thing. It's true. Because you don't get that back until your kid turns 18 and you don't have any other kids. But at that point, a little bit older, a little bit of a different scenario. I know from working with different dealers, Casino Guitars is one the reports others for selling under map pricing. It could have been Ender Fender dealer that saw that video. It wouldn't be surprised if it was them that saw that video. It wouldn't be surprising to me whatsoever if it was them that saw and said something. Because they do watch my videos, which is very obvious. Oh, thanks, man. That's the first one ever. I will have a coffee. I appreciate that. Never seen that before. I don't say they ratted anybody out. I have no proof of anything like that. All I'm saying in regards to them is it would not surprise me. That's all. I have nothing, no concrete evidence, and I'm not saying that they ever have or ever would do that. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. That's all I'm saying. I have gone out of my way to not tell you guys about my experience with them. I've hinted at it. But I think it's in the best interest of everybody involved. I mean, this is the thing that sucks, right? Oh, God. Why'd you have to mention them? Why'd you have to mention them? Here's what sucks. Okay? I could tell everybody what happened. I have all the messages, all the emails. I could tell everybody what happened. And what it would do is it would cause drama that I don't want to deal with. I don't even like responding to bad comments. I don't even like reading bad comments. I don't like animosity. When I made the video where we weren't even like being mean to Phil, we were just kind of disagreeing. Like, well, mainly me, more so than Dave. I was like, he had to have seen that scratch on that guitar. Like, he had to have seen it, because to me, this is somebody that looks at guitars, and he used to own a shop. Like, how do you not look at the picture enough to see it? Point being, I got enough like people kind of like semi-attacking me from just that kind of thing. I don't want to start a drama with anybody. I don't want anything to do with it. So what I had decided to do in that situation regarding that shop and some things that had transpired, I was just like, that's it. Just wash your hands. See no evil, speak no evil. I don't want to be that kind of YouTuber. And it would and the other thing is just like, I could see why people do that. Why people do that drama stuff. Because if there's one thing I've learned about doing YouTube, there are two things that my audience, or not just my audience, but a lot of audiences love. They love negativity. And they love Harley Benton guitars. On a lighter note here, with the Harley Benton thing, this is what made me laugh, right? The other week when the stream corrupted, and I had to wait for it to re-download so I could re-upload it, I told you guys that there was going to be the Harley Benton double-bound Telecasters. And I'm like, I could make a video on it. I'm like, it's so lazy, but I bet you 1 billion people would click it. Right after that stream ended, I filmed for 5 minutes. I think that video has like 5,000 or 6,000 views on it. And it all happens like immediately. That video will infinitely do better than the Squire video yesterday that I put so much time and effort into, because that's what people like to click on. So, I mean, when you see me doing Harley Benton news things from now on every once in a while, whenever I release anything that I'm somewhat interested in, that's why. It's stupid of me not to do that. Because if I don't do that, I'm missing out on free exposure. Because the money's not good. You don't make money on YouTube on stuff like that for views. Not anything worth compromising for. Not even close. But yeah. What if you are negative about Harley Bentons? I have been very negative about Harley Bentons. I think they're pissed at me. To be honest. I don't know. They really didn't like the review, I think, of the... Actually, you know what? I have to give them credit. And I've done this in the past. I'm just going to reiterate here. I gave Harley Benton a lot of credit because Dave's main complaint when he did the DNA FX Pro was that the IR loader on the unit itself was garbage and that it didn't work nearly as well with the same exact IRs loaded straight into a DAW or onto another device. Like, there was clearly something wrong with it. They updated the firmware and fixed it. So they saw the video and they actually went out of their way. They fixed it. So that's a great job. I love that. The problem became, it was one of those times where I was telling you about this, Raph. Sometimes comments just don't show up for me. Like, I'll be able to see that there's a comment in the YouTube Studio app, if you're familiar with that. Like, it'll say, like, this person commented this, but when you click the comment, it says the comments cannot be shown. So it either gets, like, auto-deleted by YouTube, but then when I go into the held for review section on the actual, the laptop, there's nothing there. So Harley Benton probably thinks that I'm ignoring them, when in reality is I'm not seeing their whole comment. And I haven't been able to respond to it because I can't see the comment to respond to it. So they probably think that, you know, I'm just ignoring them, where I've multiple times when they did that, I said that they did a great job. Just like I gave ERT credit a lot of guitars when I gave ERT credit for changing the pictures on their Amazon listing, because the one that we got from them looked nothing like the picture. They updated it to reflect that it was going to be more of what I got. I said, great job. Like, I'm not asking you for free stuff. I'm not asking you for any of this stuff. But, like, you know, if there's something that's, like, reasonable, I think criticism's a good thing. And I think that you should be able to take it. Not everybody can. So the fact that those two companies listened, those two companies get a lot of crap for being import companies and having all this other stuff, for being cheaper brands. They both listened, and they both addressed it, and they both changed for the better. So I give them nothing but respect. But overall, that's it. Yeah, Aaron, totally. And Aaron also does YouTube. And so he gets it. Like, it would be so easy to do so many negative things. Do you know who I was halfway done filming this video, but I stopped. I was making a video about Tom Morello. Okay. Now, the reason I was going to make this video about Tom Morello was because a guy I really respect as a guitar player, I really like him, Pete Thorne, a few weeks ago, made a video about a Tom Morello MXR pedal, I think it was. I'm not sure the brand. But I always click his videos because I don't watch all of them, if I'm honest, but I watch the first 2 minutes. And the reason for that is because I love hearing how he writes things on the spot depending on the piece of gear and hearing how different it is. And I find it very interesting just as somebody who plays guitar and writes music. I find his takes and his abilities very interesting. But when I clicked into the comments, that was a mistake. Dude, the hell that these people have and the hatred for both Pete for sharing the Tom thing, the people calling Tom a hypocrite, all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video here. And I'm going to try and gather as much evidence I can to determine and put the facts out there. Is this guy a capitalistic hypocrite, or is he actually doing things for the right reason? I got halfway through it, and the stuff I had, I was just like, I'm like, people are going to be so mad at me. People are going to give me so much shit. I decided not to do it. So I canned the whole project. Canned the whole thing. I don't want to buy from rotten people. Neither do I. I do not want to buy from rotten people either. And I don't want to buy from people that posture. Like, there's certain brands I won't posture from because of how they carry themselves on social media and how they do certain things for the sake of just getting pats on the back, not for the sake of because they care about the cause. And I look very pale and white right now, but I'm 100% import, baby. I'm the real deal. I'm South American. I don't like being pandered to. I don't like any of that stuff, and I don't like when that happens to any group or ethnicity of people. And there are certain brands that do that a lot. So I'm never going to see certain brands on this channel. You found the video when I was the first to review it. See, it really is of value. And I understood that. I didn't get that for a long time. I thought if I were to get in really expensive guitars, that like if I got them in like once every few months, like a Fender custom shop, like a $4,000 guitar, that would be the way to get, a lot of views. This was when I didn't know what I was doing. I still kind of don't know what I'm doing on YouTube. I blabber a lot. But that's not it at all, man. That's not it at all. More people are interested in lower end stuff, and more people are interested in seeing the first non-supplied person demo it. So if you can be first, your audio quality is good, your editing is remotely decent, and barely anything, like as far as like how a guitar is built, how a guitar should feel, and you're able to give an honest assessment and you provide an honest assessment, that's just not, this is the greatest thing in the whole world, trying to get sponsored for a later video, people love that. That's why all those Harley Benton videos do so well, and that's why every time they release a guitar, I'm tempted to buy it. And not because it's going to pay for itself now, but because that is an investment in myself and in the channel for the future. Because then what happens is people like Andrew come. Now Andrew's in the streams. Now Andrew will watch when I talk about it. Now Andrew's got to know me a little bit. That's how it's supposed to work. When you don't have the budget, like to be a big shop that's getting all this stuff in anyways, or you don't have a relationship with these companies like some of the really big YouTubers have to have priority and have the stuff shipped to you. You're filming it a week in advance at sometimes, and then you all release it at the same time on the same day. If you don't have those facilities, you have to get creative. One of the ways to get creative is you have to either be a better player than everybody else, which I'm not, or you have to be first and still be able to provide value with your opinion and decent production quality. So it is important. Let me see. I will show that message. Tom's a really polarizing guy, man. And I was really taking the approach when I was doing my talking over, because I had a lot of footage that I had of him talking. And when I would go over like photos, like I was trying to be like just in the middle on this. One of those things where, like, I don't want to be like, this guy's a fake communist, or this guy is a communist, or this is a capitalist, or he's an anti-capitalist, he's a hypocrite, he's not a hypocrite. No, I just wanted to gather what we know and then let you, the people, decide what you think on your own. Because I don't like being told how to think. That's one thing that pisses me off, and it doesn't matter what the topic is. I don't like being told how to think. Sue me. So I thought that would be the best way to do it, but I just decided not to do it. I have had some experiences with stores, but I wonder if it was just me or that person that day. Yes, that's another thing. You don't know. Like, there's a guy at Dave's Guitar Shop. I love Dave's Guitar Shop. I love Dave's Guitar Shop. But there's one guy, every time he answers the phone, I just sigh to myself. I'm like, God damn it. Like, why'd you answer the phone? And I'm not going to name the guy. I wish the guy well, but he's just never in a good mood. Never. And this is in the years that I've been dealing with that place. This guy's still not in a good mood. So, it is what it is. Gossipy way, I don't know. I don't follow. I don't follow them, and I don't follow them deliberately because of, you know, the stuff from over a year ago. I immediately just hit the. I'd rather just not know. I'd rather not see it, and then that just prevents me from wanting to talk about it. And the only reason it got brought up today is because Marcus did such a great job, but he did it unintentionally. He didn't know that. Yeah, and I don't. And I hope that they do well. Whatever, man. It's no hair off my ass. Like, I don't care. It doesn't bother me, like, if other people do well or don't do well. It bothers me when people do underhanded stuff. I also like long-term reviews as well. Yes, and that's something that I'm going to be doing starting in April. And the only reason I'm saying it's starting in April is because we got so many new guitars coming in that I wasn't planning on because they were all half price, that I'm going to go over each of my guitars and do a full bench video and a full long-term. And really, it's going to speak volumes for a few of them because I've had some of these for a long time. And the people that see this channel see how much I move guitars. So any guitar that's lasted as long as some of these have, there's got to be something really good about them. I only sub because you have a cool what? I know what he's going to say. He's going to say wife. James is obsessed with my wife. And I know that. He's always making snarky, sly comments. You don't think I pick up on this? You don't think I pick up on this? I pick up on this. Cool attitude. Yeah, I don't buy that. Yeah, but I'm honest. Okay, there's a lot of comments. I actually never watch videos the first week stuff drops because they are all shills. I don't watch. I try not to either, but the thing that kind of helps my cause, in a sense, when it comes to this topic is I don't care about the majority of the big stuff that gets released. It takes a lot for Fender to get me to be excited enough where I'm like, I gotta get this. And in the case of the 60th anniversary Jag, I told you guys, and I've been very consistent on this. I said my two favorite Fender guitars that I regretted selling out of all of them were the Custom Shop Telecaster Double Bound. We reviewed about that, and the 50th anniversary Jag. So they come out with the 60th anniversary Jag, and I'm going to explain to you right now why I bought that guitar. Again, full transparency. I have the Custom Shop. I'm going to sell the Custom Shop and take the difference of the price because I paid the same for the Custom Shop as I paid for the limited edition 60th anniversary Jag. I paid the same price. So I'm going to take that extra over $1,000. And I'm still going to offer that as the cheapest one you'll be able to get on Reverb. Those are really expensive now. I think the cheapest one for a 63 Jag Custom Shop is $38,000 or $4,000. So I'm going to sell that cheapest price I can get it, or that somebody else can get it. Take it. And with the rest of that money, that'll go towards me splurging on that Custom Shop, the Burgundy Mist one. So it's not all win, keep everything. But I figured this was a good way to replace that guitar, make up some of the money, and also have something that I'll appreciate and value that's high quality and in a color I prefer. Because the original 50th anniversary Jag I had was Lake Placid blue. So, let me see. There's a store in North Virginia that is awesome, but I can't stand the owner. Yeah, I've had that happen too. There was a store in Los Angeles. I'm not going to name the store. Their inventory was amazing. If you liked Japanese guitars, amazing. You can go in there. You can get anything from like one of the newer production Fender Japan guitars, or like the Taiskos, or the old Yamahas, the Tokais, the Bernies, the Grecos. I was a kid in a candy store up until I talked to the owner, and it was so bad. And I talked to a few people I knew that were, gigging up around there, and I was just like, you ever been in there? And just like, yeah, that guy's a total dick. Like, that's the only reason his business doesn't do like better, because he has all the inventory that nobody else gets, and he clearly knows somebody in Japan to get all this stuff, and his prices are decent, but he rubs people the wrong way. And so I never went back to that shop, which really bummed me out, because you guys know I love Japanese made guitars, especially the older ones. Let me see. Not cool, James. No, it's cool. It's fine. Okay, so if you were offered a day one guitar to review, would you do it or not? Only if I had no script. Only if I had no script. And that's really important to me. If you would genuinely let me say whatever I wanted, sure. But I see, and if you guys have a keen eye, and a keen ear more importantly, there are talking points that get repeated. It's no different than politics. You start to hear the same exact wording, the same buzzwords being used over and over and over again in the same reviews for the same guitars by the same kind of clique of YouTubers. That leads me to believe there's some sort of script or guideline or talking points that need to be hit. If that's the case, I want nothing to do with it. I won't do that. If I could genuinely say and do whatever I wanted, sure. And also, as far as the being provided stuff, I am negotiating right now. Somebody is going to send me something for free. It's not a guitar. But they've reached out to me. And I think that's the way I'm going to keep doing this. Because if somebody reaches out to me, it means that they see value in me enough to reach out and enough for me to want to do something together. Whereas if I write Fender a letter, I write Jackson Audio a letter, I write Strymon, it doesn't matter who it is, I write them a letter, they have all the power. They know that I want their product. I'll give it to you if you say this. I'll give it to you if you keep mentioning this or compare it favorably to this other product. I've lost all my negotiating power. But if somebody comes right to me and is interested, ball's in my court. I didn't know who you were. I can buy whatever well, not whatever. That sounded bad, but I can buy what I want. Like, if I want a piece of gear, for the most part, if I want it bad enough, I can get it myself. I don't need to be supplied any of this stuff. That's not my goal. So I think the best way for me to go about this, and that I can keep doing this honestly, if somebody wants to work with me, they can reach out to me. And that's not even arrogance. It's just because I'm indifferent towards doing it. If not, cool. I will just keep buying these guitars on my own. That's fine. But yes, no script, nothing. Want nothing to do with it. Epiphone BB King, I was sick to death of the overblown YouTube reviews. I didn't watch a single one on that. I don't watch any Epiphone stuff. I have no interest in that brand. You guys know that, though. I have a 60s Taisko, the guitar player in our church, had it in the early 70s. I only just found out it was a Tesco. Yep. Fender listened to you guys. Yeah. There's a few instances of that. It wasn't just with the Acoustasonic. There's been a few instances of that. And it's very obvious. But it's really funny. I think it's extra amusing. I'm not gonna name names. But out of all the people that like get the big sponsored day one stuff, the ones that have like the most subscribers, and I respect this. This is not meant to do an insult to them. They'll own it. Like, they'll put the talking point straight up on the thumbnail to be like, look, so here you go, Fender. This is what you want me to say. Not only am I going to say it in the video, smack dab right on the thumbnail. It's the first thing they're going to see. Makes everybody happy. That's good business. If that's the business you want to be in, then that's a great way to do it. It's kind of like the way, I really respect a guy who lives where I used to live, although I never met him. I don't think he ever played out. I think that's why I never met him. But Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum, I had no idea he lived in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for forever. I had no idea he lived there. But the way that he operates his YouTube channel, and I know this because there was a large thread on the gear page that was talking about YouTubers, and a lot of people think that we make like a lot of money here. It's really funny because it's not the case. But the way he looks at it is as a business entirely. So it's like he looks at views it as a return. Like he doesn't look at it in any other way. Like he verbatim, like somebody had a video that had a few 100,000 clicks on it and they posted it and he was just like, that's a great return on that. And it made me sit back to myself because I'm like, I just have a totally different perspective. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like he genuinely, he's blatant about it. He's not lying to you. That's why somebody like that doesn't annoy me. Because he's not pretending to be something he's not. He's owning it. He's embracing it. He's letting everybody know it. And he communicates that with his loyal fan base. To me, that's awesome. That's great. That's the way to do it. If you want to do it that way. I don't want to do it that way. Do I like the new Nissan Z? I haven't liked... I love Japanese cars. I have a soft spot for them. After about 2004, not many I like. Roughly 2004. I like the older ones. I liked it before they had to start making them all weigh the same as what an SUV used to weigh. Kind of takes the fun out of it. The fun of Japanese sports cars was the fact that they were lightweight, rear-wheel drive. They didn't have a ton of power, but God, they drove great. They drove great. All right. I have still never met a person who owns an Acoustasonics. I haven't either. Actually, I have. Somebody that came in this chat owns one. I remember that. I like Pushin's review of Jazzmasters. That guy knows what he's talking about with this stuff. He knows what he's talking about. He's a good person to listen to. If you want something really informative, yeah, for sure. But if you don't want to spend top dollar on a guitar, I wouldn't recommend buying from his shop. But they get some good rare stuff that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. So, compromises. It's funny how QVC shopping, channel spam, email, the YouTube videos can get the modelers. Is this the real amp killer style? Yeah. Yeah. The spark, man. The spark. I don't want to offend anybody here. I tried one of those things. A buddy of mine got one of those. That thing sounded worse than like one of the first generation Line 6 Spiders. It's not a very good amp. So I do get a kick out of that when, these people do that stuff. The really clickbaity stuff. And some people are really shameless about it. They'll let you know. And you can tell when somebody's doing something just for clicks or when they're doing it because they find something interesting. And the most important thing is understanding that there's room for both. That's the most important thing to understand. You don't have to love what somebody's doing content-wise or hate them on either side of the token, but you have to understand the intentions behind it and what they want out of YouTube or what they want out of their shop or what they want out of music. Because when you can relate to those things, it makes people's intentions a little more acceptable, provided, of course, that they're decent intentions. You understand? This went somewhere I was not thinking we were going today. I want to talk about Jazzmasters. Here we are. Rambling. How did we get on this tangent? I guess I'll talk about some other YouTubers that I like. I like Ben Eller. Ben Eller provides value because Ben Eller is a hell of a player. He's a funny guy, got a great sense of humor. Gives great info. If you actually want to learn how to play guitar, great info. Great player. Great presentation. Who else do I like? I like Andy. Andy the Guitar Geek. I don't know if he still works at Thomann. I know he did, or he used to do some stuff with them. But he's pretty cool. I won't speak for him, but I had this was on Instagram. It was a brief conversation I had with him about, him really standing by his morals and not supporting a certain company anymore. And that made me really respect him all the more. Because I was like, we're on the same page. Because there are certain companies that I won't, give my business to for similar kind of reasons. And I was just like, good for you. So people like that I like. RJ's awesome. I love RJ. RJ seems like just like such a nice guy. He doesn't seem like he's selling you anything. You know who else is like that? Who doesn't seem like he's selling you anything, but it's a style of music that I don't really get into. And I think it's the only reason I don't watch him is Congilio. I think it's Cody or Corey Congilio. I'm bad with names, I'm sorry. But I remember him and he's got the mustache. Sometimes he plays an SG. Ugh. But awesome. Really cool guy. Really cool guy. Doesn't come across like somebody who thinks, he's better than everybody else. He's very grounded, very level, just like RJ. They're both monster players. Both just seem down to earth. Doesn't seem like a sales pitch. All right, let's talk about what do you want to talk about with Jazzmasters? I feel like we've gotten past the point of no return with these. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. So, I sent the email to the Bootstrap guys. I think we're going to do this. The custom Jazzmaster pickups to my spec. I think I'm going to order whatever the minimum amount is. And I don't care if I have to sit on these things forever. I'm going to sell them for so cheap, somebody's going to try them. We're going to do the same wind traditional Jazzmaster in the neck. And then I'm putting in a P90 in the bridge. Probably just going to be lazy because that's what I am. And I'm bad at naming things. You guys know that. Just Jim's Jazzmaster pickups. Something like that. Package them myself. Sell them off. We're going to put those into the Squire. Because obviously I'm going to try them out. You guys are going to have to want to hear them. And I'm not taking the Fralins out of the 65. Those are staying. Those are staying, my friends. So, yeah, thanks for going to do it. I thought I saw another question I didn't answer here. Maybe not. They are all reviewing the new Line 6 Katana style Catalyst? What the hell's that? See, I'm in the know. So, I don't know what that is. I don't own a Jazzmaster. I guess I want to buy one. Do you have a Mustang? If you don't have a Mustang and you don't have a Jazzmaster, based on what you already have and what you're telling me, I'd buy a Mustang first. If you could pick one Jazzmaster set of pickups, what would I go for? It has to be new. Let me know if it could be used. But if it has to be new, then, because it's a totally different answer if it's new versus used. If it has to be new, okay. Here's what we're going to do here. I'm going to surprise a lot of you. If it has to be new and it has to be a Jazzmaster, I'm not buying one from Fender. I'm buying one from Momose in Japan. I'm calling it a day. That's it. Those guitars new. Less than an American original. Hand built to better standards than the Fender custom shops. And they're actually a little bit more accurate with the neck carves. I would take one of the Momoses. As far as the pickups go, Lindy Fralin, stock, 5% in the bridge. That's it. Done. There's your answer. There you go. That would be it. I would buy a Momose. That's pretty high praise. That I skip all the Fenders and go right to a Japanese brand because I truly believe they make a better one. For the price and for the money. New. Because new, I don't know if you guys have seen this. The American originals, when they're coming in stock now, I saw the Jaguar for $2,250. that used to be a 1999 guitar. So that makes me think when they announce the refresh in a month or two, they're going to be $22.99 minimum, $2,300 guitar for just a American vintage or an American original, whatever one replaces the line. I hope it's the American vintage. Bring it back to the vintage specs. It would make sense because the last 4 years where they've done the American originals, those are all 9.5-inch radius. It'd be smart of them to go back to the 725 because then at the end of 4 years, they'll have people that want the modern radius again. So then they can go back to that, and then it's an infinite cycle of switching back and forth, when in reality, Fender should just offer an option for either one like they used to with the original American Vintage series. You could get the hot rodded ones that had a 9.5 or the regular ones that were 7.25. Instead, we got to wait 4 years in between to get what we want. But I will say this, I will give you a cop-out answer, well, second answer. If it had to be a Fender Jazzmaster, I would buy one of the Dave's Guitar Shop limited edition 62s. Those are still $2,150 when they're in stock. And Dave's Guitars doesn't sell garbage. So they reject anything that's not top notch. So that's how I would do it. Very nice guitars. I believe that they offer those in Fiesta Red, Lake Placid Blue, Seafoam Green, Surf Green. And actually, that's it for the Jazzmasters. Very nice. I have the most un-Mustang of the Mustangs, the American Performer. That is not the most un-Mustang of the Mustangs. The most un-Mustang of the Mustang was the American Special, I believe, from 2012. 2-pneumatic bridge, stop tail, and 2 atomic humbucking pickups. That is as not Mustang as you're ever going to get. At least yours has a vibrato. Stock pickups are awful. Yeah. Probably not the best pickups in the whole world, let's be honest here. But what are you expecting? They're bullets, my friend. They're bullets. So. Man, I still can't believe. Aaron, if you're still here, thank you so much. We've literally never had a super chat. So I got to give this guy some sort of like badge. Now I got to like look into how I can give somebody a special role on this stream. Because I won't forget that. He will be the first one. He will get some sort of special role here. You've never owned a Mustang? You should. Everybody should own a Mustang. That one is growing on me like a fungus. It's just sitting in its case still. You see, I had it out the other day. That was for optics. I had it out so that people that didn't know my YouTube channel, they would see an ocean turquoise Mustang hanging up next to the gold Jazzmaster and be like, okay, this guy really likes offset guitars. So... yeah, but normally that guitar just sits in its case. I love it. I love that guitar. But I don't know the fate of it. I have to get what I think it's worth, and I also see this market continuing to rise. And I'm not in a position where I have to sell anything. But we are going to sell the custom shop Jag. Unless this one is so deficient and so not as good, like really not comparably as good as the custom shop, I think it'll be close enough. But if for whatever reason the 60th anniversary Jag is not, I will not keep that guitar then. I will not keep that guitar. I will keep the custom shop. To be fair, my main Jazzmaster is not very Jazzmastery, but I got an amazing deal, especially with the mods. Yeah. And there you go. And you like a more modern stuff anyways, Ian. That's okay. You're much more like Dave than you are like me. You know, you guys like the same music. You like your modern stuff on your guitars. You like all that cool stuff. So it's just different tastes. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I wish the bridge that even came on your guitar, because you got one of the pros. I wish the bridge that came on that Jazzmaster was the same one that came on the Classic Vibe or the 40th anniversary. Basically the Classic Vibe. It's the same thing. Wish it was the same, but it's not. So, because Fender know how to do a bridge that'll work. They updated that one because that one had problems too. They updated that, put bushings on the bottom of that. No problem since. So, Fender know how to do this stuff. They refuse to do it. Very frustrating, but what can you do? I don't know. One thing that I've learned from all this, I'm starting to have a little bit more of a sweet spot for the model of the Jazzmaster. Again, I played one for a long time. I still prefer the Jags and the Mustangs. But it's been fun mainly playing those two guitars. The neck isn't as fat as the American Original 60s, really, because Dave's guitar has a Lake Placid Blue 60th anniversary, and at the 12th fret, it is 0.96, which is barely less than my Les Paul Standard 50s in terms of thickness. So that's chunky. It's a chunky neck. I like that. Didn't know that about the American Originals then. So, I don't know, guys. You got anything else you want to hit on? Because I think I got to film some stuff for today. I get the kiddo all to myself all weekend. So I prefer to have all my work done then, so that I can film something. I already have one video filmed for tomorrow. I'll need one more video for Sunday. And then, yeah, that'll pretty much sum it up. Dave is your spirit animal. Yes. Dave, yeah, you and Dave are just born on the wrong continents. The same people. You're the same people. You have so much in common. You got to get on the podcast. I keep offering. And that's another thing I will say about this guitar. I'm very impressed with everything but the bridge. I thought the electronics, despite being the import specs, is very good. It's very good. It doesn't sound as good as the 65 with the Fralins, and you guys are going to hear that at some point next week. Don't worry. The reason why I'm not going to film that today, too, is because I have a Japanese Jazzmaster coming in that will be sold. So if somebody's interested in a Jazzmaster, I'm going to have a made in Japan one. I don't need to hard sell that. That'll sell on Reverb overnight. The last time I had this exact guitar in this exact color, the Ollie White with the Spitfire red torque guard, it sold within 4 hours of being listed on Reverb because I priced it at the lowest price. The very, very in-demand guitars. But before I list it for sale, we're going to compare the Squire, the Made in Japan, and the American Vintage 65 Jazzmaster. In more than just a sound test, and just kind of like a build quality, a field test. What's really different about these guys? I think it'll be fun to do it with all three. So that's why I'm waiting. But that'll be fun. I've emailed. Yeah, I didn't see the last email about specific time. We'll have to do it. I have been here, went shopping, picked my daughter up, making dinner, but still here. See, Raph's a trooper. And I won't say what you said you're going to do, but why are you're really going to do all of them? We'll talk about this a little bit later on Instagram. I'll message you back, but don't get rid of all of them. Don't get rid of all of them. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a pleasure as always. Pleasure as always. So, I'm going to put up a poll. This isn't going to be for this week, but I am finally going to do... This is not going to work as far as clickbait goes. It's not going to be working as far as getting a lot of views go. But I feel like I owe it because I've had 2 people ask me in the last week, and I've ignored it in the past. I've never wanted to do it because it feels cringy to me. But I will leave a thing where you can comment on it. And basically just quick questions, not long questions. Just any quick question. I'm just going to try and rapid fire through it as like a kind of ask me thing. And I will make a full video answering as much as I can about anything within reason. Don't ask me about Joe Rogan and the intellectual dark web. Don't ask me about mandates. Don't ask me about any of that crap. Anything reasonable. We can talk about it. Favorite Japanese food, animes, cars. Talk about that stuff. Just anything. So I will have a poll. Probably, I'll put it up right after this. I'll just leave a thing, not a poll, just a post, and then you can comment anything, and that'll be one of the videos I make for next week. Because I have so much like actual guitar content with all the new guitars coming in. I need to have some stuff like that where I can just not have guitar stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be overload. And then new people that come in are going to be like, he has a new guitar every day. This is great. And then the reality is that's not how this works. This is a rare occurrence. So we will do that. I would appreciate, and I'm open. I'm excited to answer any questions you guys might have. That'll be fun. We'll do a long stream, something like that. But I'm closing this off. I'm going to try and get some work done. I hope that you guys make it through the rest of your days, no matter where you are in the world. If you're at work, you don't got too much longer, hopefully. If you're, at home, getting ready to eat some dinner and you're in the UK, hopefully you put some spice on it. You guys eat really plain food. in the UK. You could do better. I've been there. But I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for a different video.